Hello, Karen Mahoney here, Creative Memories Advisor based in the New England area. I'm here with another installment of Blog Borders. This is a video where I will choose a border sketch from the 110 Border Ideas and Sketches that Creative Memories released towards the end of the year in 2022. All of the borders in this book are compiled from the Creative Memories blog. Super easy to find. If you don't know where the blog is, go on creativememories.com, and at the top towards the right there'll be a tab that says blog, and it takes you right to it where there are lots of ideas. So I kind of randomly have chosen a border, and I'll show you which one it is. The one I'm doing today is on page 78. So if you have this book, I'm doing the blog on 78. I looked it up, the border on the blog, and it is from March 8th of 2022. The border is called Love Story Border, and it is designed by Chrislyn Matei. So she makes some beautiful borders, so I thought it would be fun to take her sketch and border and recreate it with materials that I had on hand. So this is the one that I have made. Now this one I have used the Gem Tones papers. Gem Tones is a collection that was in one of the secret boxes in 2022, so that's where this came from. I thought the colors were perfect. St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow, so I am using the Infinity Heart, which I think looks very Irish to me. It also kind of looks like hearts, hence the name. It's a border punch. It is the punch that was used in the book. I'm not sure how easy it is to see this border. The colors are very white and very light and cream colors, but it is using the same punch, but this border is using the Devotion collection, which is a wedding collection. So I chose to use different papers and different embellishments, but I'm basically doing this border exactly as it is on here, pretty close to it anyways. So I went on the blog. So those of you that have this book, the measurements are not on here. So if you do a quick search on the blog, I just put in Infinity Heart punch, and I put in Devotion, and I put in the word border, and it popped up with the correct blog post, and I was able to get all the measurements from here. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, obviously I'm using the Infinity Heart. You can use any punch that you want, or even a Border Maker cartridge. So I would suggest you use something that you can cut in sections like we're going to on here, because this border punch is probably 2 inches wide. Maybe a little different. Let me see what this one is. This one's 2.5 inches wide. So you could use any punch that has kind of its own image within the space that you want to use. So, I mean, if you had something that was only 2 inches, not 2.5 inches, you could always make the width of your border smaller. So you can make this probably work for just about anything that you have. All right. So first thing that we're going to do is we need our base. Now the base of this border is 3 1/4 by 12 inches. You could use cardstock or designer paper. I used designer paper on this one, so I'm going to cut that first. So I've used this piece of paper. For the base of mine, I chose a very white, very muted designer paper that I'm going to use on here. I mean, it's dark on the other side, but I'm using this side for my base. If you want a sturdier border, I would suggest that you used cardstock as your base. But I like designer paper, so that's what I'm going with. Get my 12-inch trimmer. And like I said, it's 3 1/4 inches by 12. So that's my first piece. And then what we need on here, you have 2 pieces that are a 1/2 inch by 12. So I'm going to use the same piece of paper, but I'm going to end up using the other side of it because it's a nice contrast. So I just need to cut these at a 1/2 inch. And I need 2 of them. And then that's actually all I need this trimmer for. So that was super easy. So then I'm going to move on to my infinity heart punch. Make some room here. And what I'm doing with this is I am cutting a full border with the infinity heart. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to go all the way across. Careful to line it up correctly. This is a fairly newer, this came out within the past year or so. And so a lot of the newer ones have this nice little notch that's printed on the wings there. So you know exactly how to line it up, which is such a nice feature. I believe I get 5 punches out of this. And I'll tell you in a minute why I need to know that. All right, so that's that border. Now what you're going to notice is on this sketch, there are 11 strips that are going down across in here. So that means 11 sections of this border. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's only 5 on here. I'm going to make another strip. That's another 5. So that's 10. So I will need to make an extra when I'm done. Now, because I already kind of used this one here and it's got the notches, I'm going to kind of just cut that strip of notches off so I make sure I get a nice even cut from this. Okay. So apparently I lied when I said I didn't need my trimmer anymore. I did. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to make this border. Careful to line up my image and the notch. Now, if you do punch this, if you're using this one or any other one, and you happen to not line it up perfectly, this is a very forgiving border because we're cutting it into sections anyways. So see, you can see here how I've got a little extra here. So I'm just going to take my scissors and just trim it up a little, make it look pretty, and put that there. And I do know I'm going to need 1 extra punch, so I'm choosing this one to do my extra punch on, and I will do that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, because now that I have, the beauty of using double-sided designer paper is we now have 4 different designer paper designs. So I'm going to cut these in half right along the center here. So it's pretty easy to know where to cut. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up, once I do this, I'm going to put them in the order that I'm going to put them on my border. Okay, so I'll do that one. Then I'll do this one. I probably should have flipped some over. I'll go 2, Didn't do a very good job punching that one, but we'll see how it works out. I'm going to cut this one off. Okay. So you can see on this one that I've already done, I started with kind of this orangey color, and then green, and then the lighter blue, and the darker blue. So that's going to be my pattern. So let's see, orange, green, lighter blue, darker blue, orange, green, and then I just have that lighter blue left because there's an odd number of these. So I have 11 of these to work with. So first thing I'm going to do before I get started, I think the easiest way to figure it out, because I know this can be a little challenging, trying to put things on and space them correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, I'm going to move these over a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to take a nice pencil. I do like mechanical pencils because they write very thinly and they erase really nicely. So we have, this is 3 1/4 inches wide. I want to find the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the center. So the center of 3 1/4 inches should be 1 5/8 of an inch. So let me find that. So I've got 1 5/8 of an inch right there. That's the center. Okay. 1, and that should be the center there. So then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to very lightly, I mean obviously dark enough so I can see it, put a pencil line down the center. Now, just so you know, I did try using my blade, my scoring blade, but for some reason it didn't show up very well enough on this particular paper. It would have shown up better on a darker paper. I couldn't see it, so I decided to use the pencil instead. So what I'm going to do is, if you look on here, you can see this is pretty easy. The little Celtic hearts, so to speak, the chain, the infinity hearts are really close together. So they're almost touching, not quite touching. If you have something that you have a hard time spacing it out, what I tend to do is I start on the end first, and then I find my middle one, whatever the middle one is. I'm just grabbing one for the sake of it right now. And I would measure it out and maybe put the center down and then work your way that way. But because, I mean, I did do this already, it's actually pretty simple to just put them as, you know, close together without touching. So I'm going to do that. I need the repo tape. Whew, that was a close one. So I'm going to use my silicone mat, and now I've got my little pencil line, and I will line this up to the center right here, and I'm going to go all the way down. And what I am going to do, I am going to put that one in the end. Okay, I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to put this one on the end. And then I'm going to work my way up. And again, I'm using repositionable tape. So if I find that something is just too far away or too close, I'll be able to pull it up and readjust. And nothing is quite nothing is the end of the world. It's not quite permanent, and all is well. So I'm just going to go through and put these down. So we're doing this before we put down our strips here, because those strips are going to hide any mistakes. And it's going to give it a more polished, finished look. Now, if you have any little pieces, just use your little scissors and trim it off. I love these colors, really do. I don't think this particular collection was a huge favorite, but you know what? I find that until you use it, or until you find that you have just the right colors, or the right, you know, if you just give it a shot, you're going to like it more than you think. And I think these colors are gorgeous. All right, so I'm going to kind of see where we're at, just so before I put all of them down, and see where we are here. It looks like we're in good shape, actually. So now this is, it's a lot of kind of moving parts on these pieces. So I don't want them lifting and ripping, so I want to make sure I do have enough repositionable tape on there. We're almost done. Two more. Now, I like to do, I am a lover of the double page spread. I know not everybody. See, I'm going to move some of these a little bit closer, because now I'm at the end and I'm going over, I'm going over where I want to be. Oh, I need my multi-purpose tool for this. My goodness. It's usually at the ready. So I'm just going to pull this up a little bit. And I'm going to move this down. Maybe move a few of them down, just so it doesn't irritate me. Okay. Very carefully pull them up, because there's a lot of little spots that can rip. And I think this one, these two here were spread apart a little too much. But see, with the repositionable tape is so forgiving. There we go. And I think I'm just going to move this one more, and then I think we're in really good shape. Perfect. Yep. Excellent. Oh, this needs a little extra tape right there. Put it down. Excellent. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to take my strips. This is actually a very easy border, and it's quick. And what I love about it is that it's pretty easy, but yet it doesn't look easy. And that's kind of what I go for. Those are the ones I like. And you can see that when you put the border on, it just covers the little tips of this. So if your, cut with the scissors was not perfect, it honestly doesn't even matter. There we go. And look at that. Look how easy that was. Now, I already made a border. Like I said, I like double page spreads, so I like to do a practice one to make sure it works and I like it. And then I have two borders, and let me just show you what a one page would look like. That was so easy. So I have this paper right here, and I could just take this. This is also from the same collection. Look how beautiful that looks. Or you could go this way. And that looks fabulous as well. This paper, the other side of this is much busier. Let's see if we can, that makes for a very busy layout. But you know what? I don't hate it. I would probably use very light mattes on this if I did use it this way. But I would definitely matte my photos. It's too busy to put photos straight on there. But I think I would probably use this side. And that is that. So as a reminder, this is in, if you have this book, 110 Scrapbooking Border Ideas and Sketches. The border I just did is on page 78. And if you want to get the measurements on the blog or see the details, or you know what, there's probably other borders and stuff in the same blog post so you can get more ideas. It's called Love Story Border. You can search that. And it was posted on March 8th of 2022 by Chrislyn Matei. But that's it. So I will be back soon with another border from the book and from the blog, making another blog border. So talk to you ladies soon. Bye-bye.